Allow me to welcome Mr. Neil Kerman, a very renowned Brooklyn-based abstract expressionist artist who is renowned for his international global exhibitions ranging from Europe, from Asia, of course New York and Chelsea, South America. We are honored to be featuring Neil Kerman on the Kristal Hart TV show, and I would love to introduce you to some of Neil Kerman's really wonderful work. My philosophy is the artists are the eyes and the ears of the universe. They are prescient. Sometimes they foresee things that none of us know or are aware. And this is exactly the case of Neil Kerman's recent series. Neil Kerman has painted his abstract work, non-objective, and it is inspired by a new visual language about his views about the environment, about the atmosphere, the stratosphere. One of his paintings is entitled Urban Fire. And now that we are facing a crisis with wildlife fires in California, Neil Kerman has put the eyes and the ears of the artist to test and revealing some of our concerns about our environment, about ecology, about water. Neil Kerman uses blazing red vermilion painting. His colors are jubilant, but also something that we see a concern about the environment. We are concerned about the stratosphere, about the climate, about drought, about fire, and Neil Kerman places this in a visual context and makes us think about caring for our environment in an abstract expressionist form.
We have 15 paintings hanging here. Many of them represent the weather, life in itself. I have paintings representing Alzheimer's patients also.
Yes, you know, you come from a business background. You have nursing homes.
Right.
And yet, could you elaborate a little bit more? You were saying that some of your art comes out of this, as you said, nursing homes and different problems, medical problems that patients have.
Right. In the nursing home business, approximately 46 years. And 3 years ago, I had an empty blank wall in one of the nursing homes, and I bought 40 feet of canvas and painted a picture for the residents. And it was a success. I did a second floor with the same picture, and a gallery picked me up in New York, and they introduced me to a gallery in France. And I took my Alzheimer's series to Ibiza, France, which was a success. And being in the nursing home business 46 years and working with the patients, I always work with them through art. Years ago, it was called old age, senility, organic brain syndrome, and today it's called Alzheimer's and dementia. And I like to make people aware of Alzheimer's prior to them getting the disease, what to look for, and how families and support systems should be in place, how to deal with an Alzheimer's patient.
Talk a little bit about these art sticks, because he is the creator.
I am the creator. I call them art sticks. I always felt that young people or people that have small apartments have no place to really hang art. So I went and designed this art stick, which is 6 inches wide by about 6.5 feet high. And I introduced it at the Saatchi Gallery in London. And my first buyer was a model. 4 models came in, and one of them said she must have it. It would fit perfectly into her house. And she bought it, and she came back the next day and said, you know, I'd rather look at your picture than my boyfriend. She bought another one and threw him out. And but what's been happening is people have been asking me to make 6, 7, or 8 of them for one wall. So it has grown from my original concept of what I wanted it to be.
Well, before we end, and we will be having the owner, Ruthie Tucker, come up and take a walk around so that you can show each of these
I'm sorry,
paintings.
I'm having fun.
But, hey, well, tell me about your legacy. I mean, what do you want your legacy to read, or your goals, or Yeah, legacy, because probably at this point, it's a lot about what you'll
When
leave.
someone asks me for something about myself to give a statement about the artist, I said, not young and not starving. My,
Okay.
it's very interesting. There's a gentleman who liked to buy my paintings. He said, "You're a good gamble because of your age. You're there's a possibility that you will go before many of the young artists, and your works will increase in value." What I really like to do with my art,
That's sad, though, isn't it? Always, it's always been that way with art. It seems like after you're gone, it can become more.
it is what it
valuable.
is, but that's what your legacy is also. When you're gone, it becomes your legacy. So what I really would like to people to get out of my art are a couple of things. I want them really to get an enjoyment, a feeling of it. Gee, what do I see? I don't care if it's a child that's coming in and looks and says, "Wow, I see a fire, I see a lion," or someone else comes and says, "Look at the depth of this. It gives me an inner passion, it gives me an inner feeling." My Alzheimer's series, I really want people to understand it, that it means that there are people out there with Alzheimer's. It doesn't mean that they lost, even though they might be losing their minds and losing sense of reality, there's still a person within them, and I want people to accept that maybe they do understand, maybe they do hear, maybe they do feel, and we should not lose that. And with my other series and my colorful series, I want people just to think, wow, this is life, let's enjoy it, let's enjoy each color. Many times, a man or woman say, "Gee, I have no sense of art. I really don't feel I know colors." I said, "Yes, you do, because you know what lipstick you might want to wear. You know what nail polish you might like to put on. A guy might put on a purple shirt and say, 'That's not right today. I really feel blue.'" So I think each one has a true sense of color within them, and they shouldn't become overwhelmed when they see large paintings. I love to paint 18-foot paintings, 20-foot paintings, and there's so much to see in each painting, but that's like life. Life goes 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Each part of your life is a different segment, and that's how I like people to look at my paintings.
We are here with Neil Kerman, who is introducing his thermal series, which focuses on the environment, and he's posing an artistic question: is the world getting warmer? Neil, would you like to explain, please?
Sure. It's nice to have a woman here. Um, as you know, does global warming exist or not? There are controversial issues on it. Some say it does not, some say it does. I would like to, through my paintings, give people an idea of the warmth that is encompassing our world. Our glaciers are melting, and not only do I do it through the global warming and thermal, but we also have many problems here on Earth. Many fires that are existing, homes that are burning. Unfortunately, at this time, we have that in California. Celebrities are losing their homes, people are losing their homes, lives are being lost. And through my art in this series, I really want people to have that feeling and understanding that we really have to be careful of the way we live our lives and what we can do to save our environment, our trees down here on Earth from these fires that are existing, and just protect the environment through global warming that I do believe exists.
And Neil, from my interpretation, I'm seeing that almost like flames. I see the vibrancy of the tones, and I see the intensity of flames shooting up into the environment, into the sky. And I feel that when one starts to think, this is a metaphor for our world, and a caution that we all should be careful about our environment.
Well, you're right, Ruthie. This picture represents vegetation, green, life, happiness and colors, but it's being encompassed by fire and flames, and if we don't protect ourselves and do whatever we have to do, whether it's in our environment down here on Earth, through our forests and everything, everything's going to be encompassed with flames and lost, or through heat.
Neil, we have journeyed from thermal warming to the manifestation, how it really manifests into urban fire. And we're seeing this very large canvas that you've done, which is mixed media. And Neil has really created a new visual syntax, a metaphor for how fire happens within our environment with the heat, and we can start to see the flames and the intensity and the vermilion colors. Would you like to explain to us why you chose many of the red tones?
Being in the nursing home business for many years, my biggest fear was always fire. Whatever I did, we did everything to protect the homes, that fire should not hurt anyone, harm anyone, or cause destruction. Fire is devastating, as we see in California today, as we see all over the world, the devastation. And in this picture, I try to grasp that behind everything in the world, behind everything we have, we say fire encompassing, and I want people to be aware that fire is devastating. It doesn't matter if they leave the gas on in their home. It doesn't matter if they light a cigarette and they fall asleep in bed. It doesn't matter whatever. One cigarette burn could wipe out a forest, can wipe out families, can do vast destruction. And through this painting, I want people, as they look at it, to see the oranges, the flames burning, and understand what can I do to protect our family, our neighborhood, and our environment. And just dealing with the Alzheimer's patient, to take it a step further, I would like people to understand that if someone is forgetful in the house, the first thing they really should do is take the knobs off the gas range and protect it, that an Alzheimer's patient can't accidentally turn a gas on and wipe out a family, which wouldn't be their fault. So there is so much that I want people to understand and to feel, and that is the awareness that I do with Alzheimer's, people with Alzheimer's, and with the world. That's what I want in my legacy. As I was asked by Kristal before, that people should understand the devastation, the destruction that fire causes, and what can each individual do. They should teach us to youngsters in schools the importance of this. They should teach it wherever they go, and that's what this picture represents.
Neil personifies externally in the environment as well as internally in the home for safety for all of us, that it manifested. And one can carefully see here the brown tones and like the burnt sienna, that one can really see the fire. And I think that you have been very successful in manifesting it. So we congratulate you on a very successful canvas, Neil Kerman.
Earlier, we were talking about these art sticks right here behind me, colorful, just, and it's original and it's trademarked because Neil is the original creator of these
Art sticks, yes.
Art sticks. And as we talked about before, they could go vertical, they can go horizontal. So how did you come up with this idea?
Some of the apartments of some of my friends in Manhattan are quite small, and they always said they wish they could have a piece of art. So I created a size that could really fit on a tiny beam or across the top of a wall and not take up room from their space.
And once again, very vibrant, very, very colorful. How do you come up with your color scheme?
Well, this color scheme I came up because we did it in the weather series, and I maintained that color in the oranges, the yellows, and the browns. But even though I give a message of fire, they're still magnificent in color that people could really enjoy them in their home. It all depends what their color scheme is, and many people just love these colors for what they are, and they enjoy them.
And talking about colors now, right behind us here.
Okay. This painting represents life. It represents new birth. The white is always coming into play in life as old disappears. And here, even though we have a world filled with negativity, we have the balance with positive. So this picture I try to represent of the flow of colors, that we have a positive new growth of life and the white coming through as the old disappears.
And this one named Attitude, and it does have some
Attitude
attitude.
to it.
Yeah, there's definitely the colors. And so tell me what was going through your mind when you created this.
Okay, the front part is the attitude of life, dancing, flames, enjoyment of life. But in everybody's life, there's always something going on behind. What is really going on behind each opening? What does one see? Each one has their own feelings, their own thoughts, their own way of life. So I like this attitude to express that everybody does have similarities in what they enjoy and everything, but behind the scene there's a lot going on in each person.
Neil Kerman is known as a master abstract chemist for his dazzling color palette. He beguiles our colorful senses. And it's important to note that Neil designs his art in very large canvases, but also can custom make the art. These canvases behind me are 16 by 20, and they're accessible for the home, for the office, for New York apartments, for a vestibule. He can make it as a triptych, all maybe 1 inch apart. He can make it as a vertical in a vestibule. But the concept is his color are so beautiful. Many people also like to use Neil Kerman in their country homes. We can see them in houses in the Hamptons because they love the brightness of shades, the happiness, the joie de vivre that is radiated by Neil. Neil, could you just inform us a little bit about your color palette and these beautiful shades of blue and turquoise that go so beautifully out in the Hamptons or in Deal, New Jersey, with the ocean and the marine blues, and I think it revivifies the senses with your outstanding spectrum of color. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
I think you're doing an absolutely great job, and I don't think I could have said anything better, but thank you. I enjoy painting, I love color, and I want people to be excited by color. And in these paintings that we're going to go through, you're going to see different types of colors, and I want people to feel an enjoyment. I want people to be able to put it in a house that it's not too overwhelming for their apartments. And one of the things that I told Ruthie and Kristal is sometimes the paintings, when I will hold it up, could you help me for a second? Just 1 second. Could you just take it off for a second? Someone might enjoy holding it this way, but before I sell it, I'll say to someone, well, what do you see this way in the painting? Is there something that you like this way? So,
ocean rippling through it, the aquamarine blues.
or they'll turn it vertically this way and perhaps see something else. And a fourth way. And it's very interesting when a couple is buying it, a husband might like it one way, a wife might like it another way. And I say, enjoy it both ways as long as you're buying it, it's very nice. But this is how I enjoy my painting. I like when people turn it all different ways and they could see different things. If you could just take this painting. So as we move along to some of the other paintings, we'll start with this one. They're just different colors, beautiful colors that could be just calming and have a soothing effect. And it could pick up many palettes that a decorator might use. Some decorators will take a painting like this. They'll use it as the centerpiece, and they'll give a color carpeting in the light pinks or in the yellows, and then put pillows and other fabrics in around this painting. And that's how all my paintings are as we move down. There are people that just like the emerald colors, the greens, the vegetation of life. Some people might interpret this as underwater. They might have coral under the water, the sun shining through. But I don't want to take all their paintings off, but I guess I will. And here you could see another thing. It just looks like the bottom of the ocean almost, coral reef. And so someone might want to hang it up this way, and then we could go this way, and someone might see something very different in that painting. Okay, someone suggested swimming upriver. So that's what I really get from my paintings, and we'll just go for different colors. And here we have some more blues. I have a way of making these bubble effects, and people tend to like that, so I do it in different colors. But this whole series over here were much lighter colors. As we move to our next series, and we'll see more vibrant colors, which many people like. I once said to my tie manufacturer, how can you manage a tie, make a color tie like that? Who's going to wear it? And he says, what you don't like is money to me. Everybody has their own taste, their own style and everything. And that's why I paint various colors, various styles. And when someone comes into the studio, they'll say, wow, I like that, or I really enjoy that. And that's why I get a pleasure of painting all these different colors.
Neil, this series that is right behind us personifies the best of abstract expressionism because it's visceral emotion that you are portraying. Desire, zeal, and temptation. And we see the warm colors going into the cool colors, going into the dark colors. Neil is a master abstract expressionist because he personifies the color palette and our emotions and our inner dynamism, our inner artistic voice through color and through his mixed media works.
Basically, this picture that we're looking at is, as all the pictures, it just exudes emotions and feelings, and it's hot, and the lava and the warmth of it, and people just love to look at colors like this. You have it gives people tremors, as the name states, and I love painting with vibrant colors, exciting colors, passionate colors. And as we move over to desire, it's the same thing, but in different colors, the coolness of it, how one could feel very relaxed and calm and just want to sit here and look at it and think of pleasant things and the joy of life and the desires, what they might have. Going for a swim, going on the ocean, wearing a passionate, a beautiful dress, or being the excitement of it. And as we move down to the next picture, again, it's the contrast, zeal, the zealousness of it. You have the blues with the contrast of the orange, with the blue, with the contrast of the orange. That's life. Life gives us calmness, life gives us excitement, life gives us many things in life, and that's what I try to express in my paintings. If we turn this one, maybe this one, it could be the highway of life. You're coming down different roads in a dark world that we come into, and it's, or as someone suggested, it could be lightning. It could be what anyone wants it to be. That's the concept of a painting. what anyone could see in it. So many people see different things in it, and that's what I want people to share when they see my paintings, whether they buy them or not. It's just exciting for me to see the joy they get from them. And the next to the last picture we're looking at, this to me exudes a lot of energy and passion. And the way I do this is I put on different layers. Usually we try to peel our layers off. What I try to do in this painting is peel layers on. So I start with some basic colors, then I add on top of that other colors, and I just keep blending them until I get a canvas that I think gives the colors and the passion of what one would like to see in it. And this is a very textured painting, and it shows that's also part of life, all the textures of our life, all the textures that we have in our life. We are here at the Amsterdam Whitney Gallery, and I'd like to thank Ruthie, Valeria, and Allison for everything that they have done for me, for helping make me the better artist, for hanging my paintings just perfectly. And Allison would like to describe a little bit about the painting hanging here.
The painting is called Argus, and this stems from Greek mythology. Argus was Hera's bodyguard, and she was angry at Zeus, so she sent Argus to guard over one of his favorite cows, which is actually one of his girlfriends transformed into a cow to hide from Hera. Zeus goes to Hermes and asks him to find a way to trick Argus into falling asleep, because Argus never closes more than 50 of his 100 eyes when he sleeps. So Hermes, disguised as an old beggar man, and starts to tell Argus the most boring story he could think of. The story goes on and on and on, and slowly, Argus ends up closing all 100 of his eyes instead of just the normal 50. Then Hermes taps each of the eyes with his magic caduceus and causes Argus to die. When Hera finds out, she's upset, so she takes Argus's eyes and places them on her favorite bird, the peacock, which is why peacocks have eyes according to Greek mythology.
And so we can see the plethora of colors of the peacock, brilliant shades that Neil was very challenged to make beautiful chromatic tones. And we can see the eyes here of the peacock, and also it's a metaphor because the artists are the eyes and the ears of the world.
And from Amsterdam Whitney Art Gallery, I thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Ruthie, say a few words when the gallery is open.
Amsterdam Whitney Gallery is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We're closed on Sunday and Monday. You can see the best art in the entire world and become a consummate connoisseur and collector of Neil Kerman. Thank you, beautiful, divine, Kristal.
Neil, there's Neil.
Thank you very much. Good night, goodbye, and I thank Valeria. Say good night.
Good night.
And Allison.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.